for 6 more.
It is big all the way.
Beautiful shot over the leg side.
Eight teams, 16 squads, 75 slots to fill. Welcome to the 100 Draft, powered by Sage.
Yeah, that's right. Over the next couple of hours, we are coming to you live from Sage at the Shard as the men's and women's teams finalise their picks for the 4th edition of the competition.
Yes, who's in, who's out, and who'll be making the best selections ahead of the 100 2024, where we'll have expert analysis, live reaction and discussion as we announce each pick.
And there are over 900 players from 22 countries, but here's the kicker: there's only 75 spots up for grabs, so truly every pick counts, and there's some massive names that are looking to be picked this evening. You've got David Warner and Meg Lanning. Will they be joining the 100 in 2024? On top of that, David Milan and Amy Jones, where will they end up? You've got Kane Williamson, Smitty Mandana as well. So many big players, Kenzie.
So many big players, and we've got some very special guests here with us tonight as well, including Oval Invincibles DJ Abby McCarthy, who's going to be providing the soundtrack of the 100 throughout the evening. We're joined by Southern Brave and Oval Invincibles, the winners of the 100 2023, who'll be making their picks with us here at Sage at the Shard. We've got two people who know the 100 inside out, Charles Dagnall and Ebony Rainford-Brent, to explain the decision-making and provide some insights to the picks.
Joining us from Sky Sports, we've got the legend that is Nasser Hussain to cast his expert eye over proceedings.
And we're delighted to welcome the tailenders to Sage at the Shard tonight.
As well as taking all the stories of the 100 Draft powered by Sage to you. Tonight, we also want to hear from you. Get your questions in for our players and studio guests. We'll be answering as many as we can throughout the show. Make sure you just use the hashtag #the100Draft on socials.
And at the end of the 100 Draft powered by Sage, we'll also be giving you the chance to win 4 tickets to the 100 Finals 2024. More on that later.
So Kenzie, we have been lucky enough to be part of the 100 since it started. Yourself down at Southern Brave, me at Oval Invincibles. But I guess the question is, and we can't forget the finals as well at Lords, but the question is, what's been your highlight?
Oh, you can't do that to me. That's so hard. I've got to mention Southern Brave women lifting the trophy last year. That was so special to see. But I think shout out as well to Tammy Beaumont getting that first 100 in the women's competition. I love that as well.
Yeah.
What about you?
Huge moment. I've got a couple as well. The men lifting the trophy last year for Oval Invincibles, of course, was a huge moment, but also the very first night at the Oval. You know, the women played the night before the men against the Manchester Originals, and I just remember the fireworks going off over the JM Finn stand, over the pavilion end. It was just a real big moment for a brand new competition, and it was just amazing to be there.
Oh, it's all coming back to me. It's certainly been some special moments, that's for sure. So let's remind ourselves of the best bits from the 100 2023.
We've been waiting for the start of the 100. Bang! It's out of the oval. Six, 6, 6. Leg side, man out there. Oh, brilliant stop. Brilliant stop. Oh! He goes big. It's 6. It's a magnificent 100 for Harry Brook.
Swung into the leg side. Oh, brilliant bit of fielding out in the deep. That is a quite magnificent piece of fielding.
He's the first woman to hit a ton in the 100.
Oh, superb. What a catch. 1, 2, 3. It's taken.
Oh, he's held it.
Goes for 6. The Southern Brave have beaten their nemesis. Overton wins it for the Originals. There will be a new name on the trophies this year.
What a moment for the Southern Brave 2023. The Southern Brave women have finally crossed that line.
Standing from the Oval Invincibles, they are the 100 Men's Champions 2023.
Oh,
I tell you what, that's wet my whistle. I can't wait. 2023 was absolutely amazing, Kenzie. 2024 is going to be even better.
Oh, bring on the summer. That is what I say. And how about this? Our Sage studio as well, ahead of the 100 draft powered by Sage. Very, very much looking forward to the night ahead.
Yeah, very much so. There's so many questions, so many big players. But I guess the biggest question, Kenzie, is how's it all going to work?
Oh, yeah, that is the big question. As you mentioned, loads of big names in the mix for the women's draft. But where will they end up? How is this going to work? Well, here's an explainer.
The teams are ready to make their picks in the 100 draft powered by Sage. Here's how the women's draft will work. Teams were able to retain up to 8 players from their 2023 squads, which were announced on the 100 deadline day. Teams didn't have to use all of their allocation of retained players, meaning they would have more slots to fill during the draft. For example, Trent Rockets only retained 6 players, which means they'll have 7 picks in the draft. The salary band where retained players were signed impacts the draft too, with teams needing to fill up the spaces in their squad. Teams will select players consecutively from their top vacant salary band down until they have a total of 13 signed players. The draft order will be the reverse of the final 2023 standings, which means Birmingham Phoenix will pick first while Southern Brave go last. Not every team will pick in each round, however. For example, as Welsh Fire haven't got any spaces in their squad until the 5th salary band, their first pick will be the 15th overall. Each team will get 1 right to match card to use during the draft on any player from their 2023 squad that hasn't been retained, which will keep that player at that team for 2024. Last year, Southern Brave used their right to match to keep Danny Wyatt when Welsh Fire tried to pick her in the first round. Teams are also able to re-sign any other players they had previously not retained without a right to match card, but only if other teams don't pick them first. After the draft, the 15-player squads will be finalised later in the summer, when the final 2 positions in each squad will be filled during the Vitality Wildcard draft. As with last year, teams will be allowed a maximum of 3 overseas players in their completed squads. So there you have it. That's how the 100 draft, powered by Sage, will work.
Yeah, expertly explained, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, who says you can't be in 2 places at once?
Wow, magic, I tell you. But yeah, listen, you've explained it perfectly there. There's some big names that I'm sure the viewers who are watching this are fully aware of already. But if you've not managed to see the retained players just yet, this is the players that played for the teams last year and they're going to continue playing for the teams, the same teams this year. We can see there, and I guess the big talking points there is that if you look at Birmingham, well, from Birmingham Phoenix all the way across the Trent Rockets and then including Superchargers and Southern Brave, that top bracket available.
It's very tasty indeed, isn't it? I'm so excited to see who that first pick will be. Not long to go until we'll find out, though. Lots of big names in there, as we've mentioned. So why don't we take a look at some of the standout players in the women's draft?
Wonderful strike all the way. Wonderful strike all the way. Second 6.
Cleaned her up, goes full straight and gets the wicket of Wilson.
Oh, what a catch. Amy Jones made that look easy.
Well timed over the infield.
That has been hit with some severe ferocity.
Launches into it, straight down the ground, and just like that, the flick of the switch from Dotton.
Oh, easy for Ellie Threlkeld.
And again, this time slightly fuller, but slightly longer from Atapatu. That's maximum of the day.
And in addition to all of those big names, we are joined by someone who will be taking part in the 100 once again this summer. It is Welsh Fire's Emily Windsor. Emily, great to see you. Hopefully that's got you excited. I mean, I can't wait, but I bet you're on tenterhooks waiting to find out who your teammates are going to be this summer.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a different feeling for the women this year, having it being a bigger draft. And I know a lot of my teammates and people around are going to be sat on tenterhooks waiting to find out who's playing where. But yeah, specifically at Fire, I can't wait to see who's joining us. Obviously, we had a really successful summer last year, so looking to go one better. And yeah, we got to do that by bringing in some big names, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, how confident are you that you can go one better? Because, you know, you got to the eliminator after, let's face it, a couple of difficult years at Welsh Fire, and then, you know, last year you shut everybody up.
Yeah, well, I only moved last year, so maybe it's me now. Look, I think the squad that they pulled together, the ethos, the coaching staff was really exciting. And I think looking at the names that have been retained, we've got that core group back. Tammy Beaumont obviously leading the way. Shabnam Ishmael, I mean, she's a match winner, isn't it? We've seen it many times in the 100 in all sorts of shirts. Hayley Matthews, Sophia Dunkley, like already we've got a really good platform of big names. And I think just looking to build on that really. But that similar core group is there, which I think is really important because hopefully we can keep that ethos and that winning mentality going into the next season.
Emily, you mentioned how close you came to that 100 final last year with Welsh Fire, but of course you have won the 100 before. You know what it feels like to lift that trophy, and I'm sure you'll be hungry to do the same with Welsh Fire this summer. But it's obviously done wonders for the women's game, hasn't it? What are your reflections on that and indeed your time as a player in the 100?
Yeah, look, it's been fantastic and it gets better and better every year, to be honest. I think we look at it in our calendar and you know it's going to be a fun month, but the crowds that we get in, seeing all those families, signing all those autographs at the end, people may think that it's hard as a player to do that, but we love that. The crowd, the people, the energy, what we can showcase and being part of one team with the men, and it's pretty fun.
Are there any kind of names that you think we should be looking out for today, the viewers should be looking out for?
Well, there's some very impressive Australians in the draft this year. I think Meg Lanning, Ash Gardner, I think she's a fantastic all-round cricketer. We can't look past the Indians either, Smriti Mandana and Jemima Rodrigues, Harmanpreet Kaur. So, yeah, there's some really big international names. But I think it's good to see the big Australians back in the draft this year.
Yeah, very exciting indeed. Cannot wait to see who that first pick will be. And let's take a look at some of those big names we've just mentioned.
It's a terrific shot.
Bolter, straight through, chance gone, what a way for her to go to 50. Has she taken it? It's up behind her.
First 5 foot in the women's 100. 6.66.
The very best of Danny Wire.
Sam Billings doesn't take her long.
Brilliant Yorker from Cape Cross.
What a moment for the Southern Brave.
Yeah, some absolutely brilliant action there, and I'm pleased to say we've had a substitution in the studio because we've been joined by Sky Sports commentator and pundit Ebony Rainford-Brent. Ebbs, so good to see you again.
Hello, yeah, good to be back. The buzz is building up, right?
I can't wait. Yeah, we've been saying it all day because we've been here kind of, you know, getting ready, and the buzz in the building itself has just been off the chain. So I imagine everybody watching and everybody kind of who's part of the teams is very, very excited indeed. There's some massive names in this draft, Ebony. So if I had to ask you to pick one in particular, we'll go for a few, but if you had to pick one in particular, who's first pick for you?
Ashley Gardner, Australian, obviously all-rounder, mostly one of the biggest hitters in the game, without doubt. But a match winner, you know, I think that's sometimes, you know, it's nice having big-name players, but not all big-name players definitely win you games. She is someone who can take a game with the bat and with the ball and in the field. So, you know, she's gone for the top band to the Trent Rockets. Not surprised she was in that first-round pick. And I'm surprised she didn't go straight away, actually. But she's number one for me, and that's it. So that's my number one.
Okay.
All right, I think we should talk about Meg Lanning as well. She's got to be in the mix for that first pick as well. I mean, one of the best players in the world, former Australia captain, multiple World Cup winner. Unbelievable to have her joining the 100 at some
she's
stage.
just come off the back of, obviously, the WPL. She got to the final with the Delhi Capitals. But I think the thing for me with Meg Lanning is not just her ability to win games. Her cricket brain is brilliant. And I think her alongside Heather Knight at the London Spirit are just going to be like a tactical machine. You know, they know their angles, they know what they're trying to achieve. And she's just so smart and ruthless, actually. That's one thing that London Spirit have maybe missed, is that ruthlessness. And I think Meg Lanning is just going to help up that and make them just a little bit more clinical with their plans and their execution. She's a game changer. Yes, she's retired for multiple reasons, but she, in terms of international cricket, but what she can do in franchise cricket over the next 5 to 10 years could be incredible. So massive pick from her.
Well, for you, Ebbs, if you had to pick a team that is that needs to have a good draft the most, bearing in mind, you know, we don't know who's going where yet. So if you had to pick a team that needs a really good draft this afternoon, who would you go for?
Yeah, I'll go for Birmingham Phoenix. Need some love. Obviously finishing last. And I think if you look at what Welsh Fire did last season, Welsh Fire made things happen. They made it come together by, you know, drafting in players like Shabnim Ishmael. That just turned it around. They had Hayley Matthews. So they got things right. I just felt Birmingham Phoenix fell away. They didn't quite know what their lineup looked like. You know, when you look at a squad that's picked well, they know exactly. You can kind of almost pick the team and the 11 just by looking at the squad. I felt with the Birmingham Phoenix last year, yes, they had Elise Perry, yes, they had Devine, but other than that, you weren't sure what they're going for. So I think they need to really be quite tactical and smart about how they recruit.
Ebs, great to have you with us here in our Sage studio. Thanks so much for joining us. But we're going to go and visit Daggers for the first time of the evening. He's going to be giving you all the insights tonight and, of course, keeping you across all of the picks. Daggers, let's do this.
Yeah, well, I will certainly be attempting to amid all of the chaos of the picks and trying to make some sense of it all. It really does go bang, bang, bang. You know, you've only got 2 minutes to make your pick. So these squads are going to be formulated relatively swiftly. So, as already explained, you start from the worst side last year, which were the Birmingham Phoenix in the women's draft, and you finish off with the best, the winners, which were the Southern Brave. Now, from a tactical standpoint, there is a variety of ways of going about this. You can pick for what you need, you can pick the best player available, or in some circumstances that actually moulds together. You might need a keeper batter and you might want to go and get Beth Mooney or someone like that. So it could actually work in a variety of different ways. So it's going to be interesting to see how sides approach this, how head coaches and captains alike formulate their squad to what they might need within their squad, from the retention of the players to actually, oh, someone ridiculous is available, we might just actually go for them instead. So this is how the playing grid looks at this moment in time. Now, it does look like just a blaze of names, and it looks a little bit, well, a little bit of a mess in that respect. So let me try and simplify it for you. If we just head back to me for the moment, and in the women's draft, there are 43 spots up for grabs, 12 overseas spots up for grabs. Now, I can tell you that 122 domestic players have actually tendered themselves to be selected in the draft. There's 127 overseas players that are just trying to get 12 overall spots. So it's not necessarily very easy indeed. So let me make that screen a little bit more clear for you as I put them into pick order. These are the first 10 picks for the women's order. Now, you can see, interestingly, that the Welsh Fire do not have a pick. So if you go down here, they do not have a first round pick. They've used those already with retention of players or overseas players. So the Birmingham Phoenix will be selecting first. They also have a pick at number 8 as well. So they've got 2 picks in the top 10, as do the Manchester Originals, both sides who struggled last year. So they may actually look to try and bolster their side with one overseas player or a domestic player as well, because domestic players in franchise cricket are absolutely premium players. So it'll be, again, intriguing to see which way they go. Let's have a look at, and this is my opinion, let's have a look at some of the things that these sides need. Now, I have gone through the sides and gone down what their retention of players were and where they might need to strengthen. So if you look at the Birmingham Phoenix, a keeper and an opening bat, that's what they might need. Opening bat, top order bat. Manchester Originals struggled for runs last year. So that's what they need. They need some top order strength. London Spirit could do with an opening bowler and a keeper as well. And as you can see down there, Oval Invincibles pretty well made up, could do with a power hitter, maybe a wrist spinner. And the Trent Rockets, they need a keeper batter and an opening bat. So all of those are the areas that I think those particular sides need. Now, let's take a look at some of the overseas players you want to keep your eye on. And there's plenty of them as well. Ash Gardner, Smriti Mandana, Meg Lanning. If she is not the number 1 overall pick, It's lunacy. Absolute best player in the world. Lots of Australians in there to choose from. Jess Jonathan, Amanda Jade Wellington, and take a look at down at the bottom, Nadine de Klerk you can get for a bargain price. As for the domestic players, lots of those to go at the moment. Top of the list, Amy Jones and Lauren Filer, 2 England internationals. The under-19 Cup final captain, Grace Scrivens, is at 3, and our own Grace Ballinger, who we're going to be speaking to a little bit, she was a finalist last year with the Northern Superchargers. So keep an eye on those names on the list, and fingers crossed you'll see some of them appear before too long. Right, that's enough of me analysing and waffling prior to it. Let's kick on with the draft. So the moment that many of you have been waiting for, whichever side that you follow and however you want to see your team bolstered. Birmingham Phoenix, number 1 on the list. They finished bottom of the table last year, had a bit of a shocker. They have selected first, and they have gone back to Amy Jones, England international, best keeper in the world. And it's a little bit of a surprise pick for me, because Birmingham Phoenix are getting the old band back together. They have Elise Perry there, they have Sophie Devine there, but Amy Jones was there last year. She's got herself a top contract, and that's excellent. And of course, in the middle order, she is superb. There was elements last year, there were winnable games, which I thought she was at the crease, that should have really taken ownership of. But the first player, I told you domestic players are at a premium. Is it a bad selection? Absolutely not. Not at all. It's a great selection. They needed a keeper, they needed strength in their batting order, but a little bit of a surprise with Lanning and Ash Gardner on the board for the Birmingham Phoenix to go with Amy Jones. Let's move on. Second pick is the Manchester Originals, and they have gone with Beth Mooney. I mentioned about their batting woes last year, really struggled for runs. Well, they've got the number 1 T20 international batter in the world. The Australian overseas, she can keep as well. Ellie Threlkeld is there, so whether she will keep or whether Threlkeld will or not, we'll wait and see. But she will partner Laura Wolfart at the top of the order, and that immediately improves the Manchester Originals. Really good selection from them, and she'll look forward, I'm sure, as an Australian to batting on those Old Trafford surfaces. Number 3 is the London Spirit, and I wondered when she was going to get selected. Knew she wouldn't be on the board for too much time. Meg Lanning, I've just watched her in the WPL. She captained the Delhi Capitals. She joins the England captain Heather Knight. Down at Lords, Grace Harris, the Australian overseas power hitter and off spinner, down at London Spirit. This is the pick for me. She's still the best player in the world by a stretch. Now she's not playing international cricket. She's a lot more relaxed. I mean, if you need any more tactical awareness, you've got Heather Knight there. If you need any more, you've got one of the best thinkers in the game. She is a great selection for the London Spirit, and fans down at Lords will really enjoy watching her bat. Go across the river then to the Oval Invincibles. They are number 4 picking, and Chamari Atapatu. Now, here is a fabulous selection again for me. They needed a top order batter who can partner Lauren Winfield-Hill. Then you've got Alice Capsey. Then you've got Marizanne Kapp. Really good. She loves batting in the UK as well. Blitzed the WBBL for the Melbourne Renegades this year, or this winter. She also captained Sri Lanka to a T20 series win over England at the back end of last summer. She also bowls you very useful off spin. That is an excellent pickup for the Oval Invincibles. Now, on to the Trent Rockets. They had a bit of a gouge out. They got rid of a lot of players, retained very few, and they have picked up what Ebony Rainford-Brent said, probably the best all-rounder in the world, along with Nat Sciver-Brunt, Ash Gardner, and I think this is a great selection. Look, she didn't have a great WPL. It wasn't her best. We saw it in the Ashes last year, and she was dominant. She won the game for Australia in the Test match. She can change a game, can Ash Gardner, and I think this is an excellent pick again. And you know, when you're picking from the cream of the crop, there are not going to be many bad selections, but those down at Trent Bridge will enjoy watching Ash Gardner bat. If you haven't seen her before, she will really knock your socks off. In the middle order, you bat her probably after Nat Sciver-Brunt with about, I don't know, 30, 40 balls to go. She can change the course of the game. Brilliant with her off spin, and she will be a hugely beneficial member of that Trent Rockets side. Let's crack on. We're getting through the first round. The Welsh side didn't have a pick. They already had Hayley Matthews in their top order, so Annabelle Sutherland has gone to the Northern Superchargers. Again, this is a player who's just come off the back of a double 100 for Australia versus South Africa in the Test match. She scored an Ashes 100 at Trent Bridge, and she is an all-rounder of great repute. Bowls very good medium pace, a lovely variety of change of pace deliveries, and she's a serious hitter of a cricket ball. Again, didn't have a great WPL in the UK conditions. I think she'll do very nicely as well. And the final selection of this first round at the top bracket, the £50,000 mark, and they are getting the band back together, are the Southern Braves. Smriti Mandana, they've fallen into their lap, really. She may have availability issues, as may some of the Indian players, due to the Asia Cup, but overall, I'm sure Charlotte Edwards is delighted to have Wyatt and Mandana back at the top of the order. So she will not have to change any of her kit whatsoever. The first round in the women's section is done. Make of that what you will. Let us know. Ebony and Nasser are with Nick Bright.
Yeah, thank you very much, Daggers. As you just said, Nasser Hussain has come to join me and Ebony Rainford-Brent in the studio. Welcome, Nasser. Great to have you here.
Great to be here. I mean, some interesting picks already. Some brilliant names at the top of that board. Brilliant, brilliant cricketers.
If you had to pick one out that you think was the best, what would you go for?
Meg Lanning. I think Meg Lanning, it was great to see her back in the WPL. It was great to see her back playing cricket. She has been a class player for a long time. She's a leader. You're going to have her and Heather Knight, the England captain, and the ex-Australian captain. And that's the key in this format, to have as many great players, obviously, but also have as many leaders as you can, because you get the 100 only for a certain period of time. It's a short time you're together, and getting a team together is very important. Meg Lanning, for me, is a superstar cricketer.
Ebony, were you surprised that, you know, let's bear in mind that London Spirit went third, so they had third pick. So were you surprised that Meg Lanning didn't go to either Phoenix or the Originals before that?
Yeah, massively. Look, I'm going to be honest. Amy Jones is a brilliant player, one of England's, most valuable, especially with the gloves. But I think you've got to go match winner, like international global superstar. Amy Jones is a very good high quality player, but I think Meg Lanning, Ash Gardner, etc. will win you games from behind out of nowhere. And so I think they've missed a bit of trick. I can imagine her going in maybe the next slot at the 40k mark, but I would have gone Lanning, Atapatu, Mandana. Those players are world class winners, and they will win you games from behind. So yeah, just a bit surprised, especially the fact that they need to make kind of a really solid momentum this year. I think they should have gone for that X factor at the top.
Yeah, I mean, top of the order is so important in this format, isn't it, Nas? Just in terms of, getting away to a quick start, setting a big total and a good platform for the rest of the team. And if you've got batting that goes deep, even better.
Yeah, and that's why Beth Mooney is an excellent signing, really, for the Manchester Originals. She's a quiet performer, Beth, and because Australia are full of stars. Just mentioned Lanning, Elise Perry, what a WPL she had. Sutherland, who's also on that list, has been the form player over the last 6 months. But Beth seems to just go about her business. She's not a massive hitter of the ball. She's a bit more old-fashioned, uses her touch and her timing, very strong square of the wicket. But when she does need to put her foot down, she does. She's opened the batting with Alyssa Healy for so long in Australia. Again, she sometimes plays second fiddle there. But that is a very good sign. The best, ranked #1 world T20 player. That's a very good signing for the Originals.
Just a quick chip in as well. I think left-hand, right-hand combinations at the top are brilliant. And you got Atapatu and Mooney. I feel like it makes that X factor for a side if you can get that balance.
Yeah, and you mentioned it earlier with Mandana and Wyatt. They were brilliant for the Southern Braves. So Mandana, I'm wondering if there was a bit of bluff in there with the right to match. They did it with Danny Wyatt last year. Danny Wyatt was their right to match. Charlotte Edwards is a very smart, switched-on cookie. They couldn't lose. If they waited, we got Mandana back. That she gives you so much. Smriti Mandana, she is so experienced, and the crowds will come in to watch her play. That is for certain. Yeah,
right. Thank you for the time being, guys. Speaking of X Factor, let's find out where Kenzie Benali is.
You are too kind. Well, I'm actually delighted to say I am alongside Grace Ballinger in the lounge. Grace, hi. So exciting to be here with you because this is a massive night for you. You don't yet know where you're heading. How are you feeling?
Yeah, definitely a bit nervous. Really excited to see. Obviously, it's the first time I've been involved in the draft, so just excited to see where I end up. A little bit nervous, as you say, but obviously there's not really a bad option. All 8 teams are great, so we'll just have to see.
Well, this is actually the first time that we've been joined by a player who doesn't know where they're heading. Is there a team you particularly want to be drafted by?
Yeah, I suppose I had a really fantastic time at Northern Superchargers last year. I really enjoyed it at Headingley. I felt really backed by all the fans, and obviously we had a pretty good comp, just fell short and came second. So, yeah, I mean, I'd be happy anywhere. It's nice to be valued, but I had a fantastic time in Leeds last year.
Yeah, Headingley's pretty amazing, isn't it? The Headingley crowd is pretty epic as well. And how does it work then, Grace? As we build up to the drafts, have you had conversations with various teams? How does it all work?
Not masses, to be honest with you. I'm a little bit in the dark, but I've kind of had conversations. Superchargers have been really good with their sort of communication, and obviously, unfortunately, wasn't retained, but that isn't a closed door as such. I think there's been a couple of things going on behind the scenes with my agent, but again, I'm relatively in the dark, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Oh, Grace, good luck for the night ahead. We cannot wait to find out where you end up. You mentioned you had a great summer last year with the Northern Superchargers. We should mention as well, taking that wicket in the second ball of the final. We all remember that, don't we? And we're going to take a look now at some of the other standout bowlers from the women's competition in 2023.
Oh, it's gone. Bowled. Dragged on. Bowled. How often does she do it? Sophie Eccleston with beautiful flight and drop.
Right through the defence. That's made a rattling sound. Right on the money, Lauren Bell.
OK, so it was a fairly frenetic first round, and you've not had a great deal of time to absorb the information, but it is the 100 draft powered by Sage, and so we have to crack on and go through the next group of selections. We're going to kick off with the Birmingham Phoenix. Now, they have just selected Amy Jones, a wicketkeeper batter. Which way are they going to go in the next round? They have gone for a wicketkeeper batter. Interesting selection again from the Birmingham Phoenix. Risha Ghosh, let's not make any bones, she is one of the best power hitters in the world. She's just had a fabulous WPL with the Delhi Capitals, and as a batter is one of the very best in that engine room, and again can win you a game from any given situation. Little bit of a surprise again from the Birmingham Phoenix. They've picked one keeper batter in Amy Jones. They've now gone and picked Risha Ghosh. Not necessarily a need for them, but that is the way they have decided to go, and that is not to do down the quality of Ghosh as a batter. She is absolutely superb, but an interesting selection from them. On to the Manchester Originals, and they have a left-arm spinner in a captain in Sophie Eccleston. They've just got a Australian left-arm spinner, so they are piling in the spin. They've also got Fee Morris in their side. Emma Lamb can bowl you a little bit of off-spin, but again, she is quality. Sophie Molyneux, she's just lofted the WPL trophy with the Royal Challengers Bangalore. She's come back from a huge amount of injuries, very deceptive left-arm spinner and left-handed batter as well. So she'll bat around about 5 or 6 for the Manchester Originals. A very tidy selection from them. Another overseas player goes off the board. On to the Trent Rockets. And where are they going to boost next? They're going to boost their batting and their bowling with the England under-19 captain Grace Scrivens. I did wonder where she would land. Again, high quality left-handed batters. They are at a premium at the moment, and she also bowls you some tidy off-spin, good in the field as well. So that's a nice selection from the Trent Rockets. On to the Birmingham Phoenix, yet another selection for them. So they are hitting hard, and they are genuinely getting the band back together, because Katie Levitt was with the Birmingham Phoenix last year. Again, very canny and experienced leg spinner, over 300 wickets in her career, Katie Levick, and again, a decent selection, but once more, they finished bottom last year. They've gone back to 2 out of 3 players who helped them finish there. Interesting selections from the Birmingham Phoenix. The Manchester Originals, they have gone on and selected Lauren Filer. Just made her international T20 debut against New Zealand, and they're out there at the moment. Has genuine pace, one of the quickest in the world. Manchester Originals will team up with her and Mahika Gore with the new ball. That is an exciting prospect on those bouncy Old Trafford surfaces. After the Manchester Originals, we go to the Oval Invincibles, and they selected Chamari Atapatu. They've now selected one of the most successful bowlers in 100 history, Amanda Jade Wellington. Needs no introduction. Great selection. They are going to be a force, are the Oval Invincible. Trent Rockets, they are selecting, they've got overseas players to use, and they've selected Heather Graham. Again, a very solid and very good Australian medium pacer batter. I think there might have been some bigger selections out there, but yeah, Heather Graham's been there before. That's who the Trent Rockets have selected. The Welsh Fire next on the list. They have selected Jess Jonathan. That's who I would have gone for in the previous pick. She's world class. So much experience. Left arm spinner, Brisbane Heat captain, Australian international, and can biff it in the middle order. So that was the selection I might have made previously, but that's who the Welsh Fire, and they have bolstered their sides. Let's quickly go through to the Manchester Originals. They pick again Eve Jones. Know a lot about her opening bat. She used to play at the Birmingham Phoenix. Solid left-hander. The London Spirit, Cordelia Griffith has been selected. Big hard hitter in the middle order. She's going to Lords. The Trent Rockets, just a couple to get through in this section. Katie George, all-rounder, medium pace. Used to have a little bit more pace, but with injuries, and can bat at the lower order. Brilliant fielder as well. The Southern Brave, couple I was mentioning about looking out for, Naomi Datani has been selected. Big hitter, can bowl you some overs as well, and that again bolsters a very, very strong Southern Brave lineup. So let's see who Nick Bright has got with him.
Yeah, thank you very much, Daggers. So we are motoring along now. We'll be back with you shortly for a little bit more in a bit. I am pleased to say I'm joined in the studio now by the Oval Invincibles men's captain, Sam Billings. How you doing, mate?
Very well, thank you. Thanks for having me along.
Yeah, it's brilliant to have you here. And, you know, I don't want to reveal too much behind the curtain, but we were just having a little chat kind of off air, and you're a parent now, new dad.
New dad, yeah, 2.5 weeks in, so not looking too tired, I hope, but been incredible, yeah, magical kind of couple of weeks.
Yeah, I can only imagine what it's like, and I'm surprised you're getting, you know, a full complement of 8 hours in still.
Definitely not.
Right, we got to talk about, you know, you and the Oval Invincibles first and foremost. Lifted the trophy last time out. Memories of last year, if you could.
Yeah, incredible. It was about time that we followed the women. They've been incredible for all 3 years, and it was great for us to lift the trophy. We knew we had the quality. We've got a star-studded side, but didn't quite piece it together in the first couple of editions. And last year was very, very special. Different guys stepping up at different points in time. And I think that's any successful tournament. You rarely have like the leading run scorer or the leading wicket taker. You want 3 or so of each in the top 10, and just having really, really good tournaments, and everyone bonded really well. And hopefully we can go again this year.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to being back down in South London with you as well. Let's talk about your team actually in the women's draft. They've picked up Chamari Atapatu as a pick. That is a really decent selection for Oval Invincibles, isn't it?
Incredible, yeah. She's had a great 2023. Really exciting Sri Lankan. Left-handed, smacks it, and I think she'll go really well at the Oval as well. Great batting pitches historically, so really excited to see her in action, and adds to a quality lineup. I mean, Marizanne Kapp's one of my favourite players in that side, and arguably the best all-rounder in the world still. So seeing her alongside the new signings as well is really exciting.
Yeah, super exciting. Just before we let you go, though, double champions maybe for the first time, men and women.
It'd be nice. both competitions are incredibly competitive. You look at the signings that have been made in the women's competition there. The quality is spread out beautifully, and that's the great kind of advert for the competition. And the men's competition is very similar as well. So yeah, it'll be really tough, but we're really excited, and the Oval is one of the greatest places to play cricket around the world.
Nice one, Sam. You're with us for the rest of the evening, kind of dropping in and out, so we'll hear from Sam once again a little bit later on. But let's head over to our DJ, Abby McCarthy now. Abs?
Hello, Nick. Normally, I'm bringing the bangers, of course, to the 100, but today I come with some good news. How would you like to get yourself on some tickets for the 100 finals on Sunday, the 18th of August? We have got 4 tickets to give away. So is it going to be you and 3 mates? Are you going to get your family to fight it out and audition for those tickets? How to get your hands on them? It's super easy. All you need to do is send us a selfie of you at the 100, or maybe you're watching the 100 draft right now. Wherever you are, we want to hear from you. We want to see you. All you need to do is use the hashtag the 100 draft on socials, and your photos and messages have been flying in all over the place already. We love to see them. Let's have a little look. Look at that. See, they're merched up. They are ready to go. There is a bit of rivalry going on as well, which we like to see. And this one, oh my goodness me, the cute points. 100 cute points immediately. Oh, we love to see it. Keep those pictures coming in. As I say, the all-important hashtag is the 100 draft. And are you 100 ready? Is that wardrobe locked and loaded with 100 merch? Have you got my favourite item, which is the Oval Invincibles bucket hat? If not, head to the100.com to sort out all your merch on there. And as you've already seen, we've got some amazing guests with us in the studio, and we are going to be putting your questions to them. So if you have one, get involved using that all-important hashtag, the 100 draft. I'm going to try and get through as many as I possibly can later on in the show. Now, I don't know about you, but I am hyped. I am so excited for this summer and the 100. So to get us even more excited, if that's possible, let's take a look behind the scenes at last year's competition. We put together a documentary series called Every Ball Counts. That is available on the 100 YouTube channel and on the website. But here is a cheeky little teaser.
Cricket's highs, lows.
One ball can change the game. It is actually really good fun when you're playing cricket.
The 100 2023.
Me and Sophie just heading over to the nets to hit some sixes.
Oh, this is so good from the captain.
Saved you. Well, I assume you're excited as well.
Got to put up with you for a month. Yeah, absolutely pissed off about that.
When she did that, I felt like a big sister that was like so proud of her. Been a bit of a roller coaster of emotions. Chaos.
I can just see the relationships growing right in front of us. I can see it coming together, and that's what excites me the most.
Cut. Hugely talented, box office players hit the biggest six that you've ever seen at a cricket ground.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, seeing all of this action, I was just talking to my 2 guests alongside me. I'm so ready for the summer. So ready. Emily Windsor has come back in the studio, as well as Ebony Rainford-Brent. Good to see you both again. How have you found the draft so far, Ebs? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. Well, look, the big name players, like I was saying, Ash Gardner, you've got to focus on those, and I think they've done well recruiting in that first round, and it's shaping up. You know, when you start to get excited about the shape up, how it's looking, how it's sort of playing out. So I'm feeling like we're going to have a competitive year again. A lot of Australians on offer who are the creme de la creme of international cricket. So I think we're looking good.
Yeah, and for you, Emily, keeping a keen eye on things, of course. Maybe for both of you, in fact, ones to watch, people that we should be looking out for. Have you got any inside info?
Yeah, I think looking at those young players, particularly a few that stand out for me, I think Alexa Stonehouse at Trent Rockets. She's in the England under-19 tour going there, but you know her as a left-arm seamer. She plays locally in Surrey, but I think she can do some damage with the bat as well. So I think with Trent Rockets, that's a good signing. Mary Taylor at Southern Brave. Again, we only saw a snippet of her early on in the summer, and I think she could make her mark if given an opportunity with Southern Brave. And the final one for me is Seren Smale. I think she's a good keeper. Unfortunately for her, Birmingham Phoenix have a lot of keepers, and one being Amy Jones, the England wicketkeeper, so we probably won't see her with the gloves, but I think we might see her with the bat in that lineup. And yeah, I think those three players for me are those young ones to watch.
So 3 from you, Ebbs. Anything to add to that?
Yeah, a couple of players. Grace Scrivens, who's been under-19s captain in the previous year. She was at the under-19s World Cup. And she's one of those bright players that, one, she's got personality, which I think is actually quite a good thing as a young player. You just put yourself out there. Very good with the bat, top order, controls it. It's got the leadership mindset, but also has the ability to spin the ball. You know, she was introduced to big level cricket last year when Nat Siver took her down at Lords, but equally she holds her nerve. She's a gutsy cricketer. The other one I'm looking forward to seeing is Davina Perrin, youngster who's come through the system, has been at Birmingham Phoenix previously, and I think from a batting perspective she hits it as hard as I've seen anyone hit it. A youngster, off spinner, got so much talent, a brilliant fielder. So for me, they're young players coming through that you've got to keep your eye on. They could do something special and see themselves on the world circuit.
Yeah, and this competition, it's integral, isn't it, for young players, Emily? Because, you know, we saw the likes of Alice Capsey at Oval Invincibles really shining in this competition, and look what she's gone on to achieve, and she's got way more ahead of her as well. So we'll probably see that rinse and repeat as the years roll on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's an opportunity, isn't it? You can go out and showcase your skills in front of a lot of people, in the media, in front of big crowds. And if you can do it at that level, and if you can do that at that level consistently, there are going to be England selectors knocking on the door, because that step up, it's not as overwhelming. You're already used to playing in front of crowds, big noise, and the whole pressure and spectacle that comes with it. And I think it's just an opportunity every time you step out there. And also, you can't dismiss the fact that you're getting opportunities to play and learn from the very best in the world. That's what's so unique about this competition. Those Australians that are in this team, Meg Lanning at London Spirit, one of the best leaders that there's ever been, and you get to step on the field, you get to learn from her. So your games are only going to get better and better by playing with those players.
And it just goes to show you, year on year, it's growing and growing. So players, they want to be part of this. They want to be part of the 100, which is absolutely brilliant to see. Right, we need to head back to Daggers now, who is going to complete the players in the women's draft. Daggers, over to you.
Yeah, thanks very much, Nick and Emily. Right, as you can see underneath the screen, the names are scrolling across thick and fast, all the rest of the selections in the women's draft. Now, I'm not going to go through every player individually, but I am just going to pick out one or two. And the first selection in the next chunk of the 100 draft, powered by Sage, was the Birmingham Phoenix. Now the Birmingham Phoenix have picked up Amy Jones, a wicket-keeper batter. They've picked up Risha Ghosh, a wicket-keeper batter. Their very next selection was Seren Smale, a wicket-keeper batter. Not quite sure about the tactics of the Birmingham Phoenix, why you would need so many. If they get injured, you've got plenty of reserves in there. But Seren Smale, I am a huge fan of. I think she's a wonderful young player. She's played a little bit of England A, and she's got the shots 360 degrees, loads of little paddle sweeps and hits over the top. I think she's a very good player indeed. Grace Ballinger, who is here at the 100 draft here in the Shard, she has been selected, and she's going back home to the Northern Superchargers. She had a really good season with them last year. Opening bowler, left-hander, wicket in the final as well with her second ball. Really pleased to see that she's going back to be in purple. I think another really good selection from the Southern Brave is their last overseas pick, and that is Lauren Cheadle, the opening bowler for Australia. Another left-armer. I think the Southern Brave are looking very fearsome with the selections that they have made and the players that they have retained. I think Lauren Cheadle will cause a little bit of devastation in the top orders of many a side in the 100. And staying with the Southern Brave, following Lauren Cheadle's pick, they got back Kalia Moore, again, a very useful spinner. And I think, again, that just shores up the depth and the quality within the Southern Brave. So I think those back-to-back selections Charlotte Edwards and the team will have to be patting themselves on the back, especially given the selections they've already made with Smriti Mandana, and so they will be delighted with the selections they have made as well. The Trent Rockets picked this one up. This was number 31 in the picks that have been made. Josie Groves, young leg spinner. She did, I think she was on at the Birmingham Phoenix at one point, but again, an England under-19 with a great deal of promise. And she is a very nice selection for me. Northern Superchargers gone back to Lucy Hyam, off spinner, and she can bowl in the power play and isn't afraid to bowl at the death. Brilliant in the field. Nice selection for the former Leicester Grammar School captain. Just right at the bottom end, the Northern Superchargers. I said about one of these players you want to watch. The very last selection has been made by the Superchargers. That is Davina Perrin. Give this kid a chance. She has got some real talent and real quality. Right, the women's draft is pretty much complete. Let's have a look at an overview of all of that.
We all know that the 100 is nothing without you guys, the fans that are watching right now. So we want to hear from you. What are you making of the picks in the draft so far? And get those questions in. I mentioned it earlier, but it's not long at all until I'll be in the lounge chatting to 4 of this year's players. So if you've got a burning question, get involved right now using that all-important hashtag, the 100 draft. And I'm going to hand back to you now, Kenzie. Why don't we get up some pictures? I know you guys have been sending loads in, so let's have a little look. Oh, there we go. Northern Superchargers repping through and through. Let's have another one. Love it. London Spirit. I mean, the Oval Invincible fan in me's, you know, it's getting me fired up, but we love to see it. Let's get another one on. Oh, the Northern Superchargers. The love is out for them today, that is for sure. Keep those pictures coming in and those burning questions. The more fun and weird, the better, right? All right, Kenzie, over to you.
Thanks, Abby. Yeah, the more fun, the weird, the better, for sure. I absolutely agree with that. Love seeing all of those photos coming in. That's what it's all about. But we are joined now by Daggers and Ebbs once again. Daggers, you feeling okay?
Can chill out now. Can chill out just a little bit.
Just for a moment.
You got the names right.
It was
you did
very frenetic, I have to say, and my handwriting skills. I mean, it's my little list that I've got in front of me is an absolute mess, and Ebbs can testament to that. But I love a draft. I follow the NFL a lot, and I'm absolutely glued to it. I love to see how sides build, what their tactics are, how they're going to approach it, and look, these are the decisions that can make or break your season. There's been some interesting ones, I have to say. But again, given the quality, and Abs, I'm sure will agree, given the rise in the quality over the last 5-6 years in the women's game, now it's, you look at some of the players that are left out and you go, wow, that they weren't selected, but the players that were, you think, I look at some of those sides and they are absolutely filled with quality.
I'm really impressed, and I think, look, Charlotte Edwards has been around in the game for a very long time, and she's very strategic. But what she does well actually is keep consistency, because there's one thing picking everyone that you want, but the other is trying to still maintain a nucleus of a squad. And I feel like she's done a great job keeping that flow, kept minimal changes, but made sure when she's picked it's been good quality. She's comfortable, I think, as well. Like, you have to be comfortable as well, leaving a player out to see if you can pick them late. All that sort of movement. So yeah, looking at the squads overall. They're shaping up pretty well, quite impressive, and I think we've got a good season ahead.
Yeah, a very good season ahead. We cannot wait. On paper then, who is winning the 100 2024?
I'm going Southern Brave again.
Yeah.
Really, I'm just saying they had to replace Anya. That's basically it. Anya Shopsol retired, and they've got Lauren Cheeto in the left armour plus Datani. They look good. Like they look the same. They've got Mandana back. How far do you go wrong?
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting one, and I agree with you. The strength and depth of the Southern Brave, and as you say, Charlotte Edwards knows what she's doing. She coaches round the world. She coaches WBL, she coaches WBBL. I think that's what. But I actually look at people like the Northern Superchargers. When you've got, Kate Cross, Bess Heath, Alice Davidson Richards, Holly Armitage, all of who've had a little bit more international experience now. add in Phoebe Litchfield, Georgia Wareham and Annabelle Sutherland.
Strong.
That is a
Very
seriously
strong.
good side. And Grace Ballinger as well, who's here with us. The Welsh Fire, you've got Hayley Matthews, Shabnam Ishmael, Tammy Beaumont, and they've just added Jess Jonathan.
And for a good price.
For a very good price. And so I think those three, who were the top three in the country last year, I think have added and strengthened, even if they, even if it's impossible, they have strengthened their side. I think the Oval Invincibles. Chamari Atapatu, Marizanne Kapp, Alice Capsey, Lauren Winfield-Hill, Amanda Jade Wellington.
They're looking all right.
They're looking all right. Trust me, the Oval Invincibles will be there and thereabout. When you add Meg Lanning to the London Spirit, I think they make you... she makes any side... a side
Strike bowler, though? Strike bowler.
Yeah,
I think
that's
what they're missing.
I agree with you.
I think they got batting covered.
And I think that was one of my needs, I think, for the London Spirit. They've got batting covered, they've got spin bowling covered. You've got Grace Harris, Charlie Dean, Sarah Glenn. They are really, really quality spinners. I mean, pace bowling, you've got Sophie Monroe, who played England A, Tara Norris, who's had international experience with the USA and also played for the Delhi Capitals last year. So they're solid. They're not what you'd say spectacular selections. I think the Manchester Originals couldn't have been... I think they struggled last year. I think they have added fabulously well with Beth Mooney. They needed runs. They've got Wolfart, Beth Mooney and Sophie Molyneux as their overseas players, and I think they're three...
They've got strike bowler in Filer as Lauren Filer as well.
Again, Mahika Gore and Lauren Filer.
The one that
nice.
looks poor is Birmingham Phoenix.
I'm going down to the Birmingham Phoenix.
Keepers in the first round, they made a bit of it.
Interesting picks. I mean, you said it when it came in, Daggers. That's a surprise. They picked first and perhaps not what we were expecting to see, but that is what makes the draft exciting, right?
Yeah, I think what's gone wrong here is I think there's been a bit of a game or cat and mouse with Amy Jones. Obviously, she wanted a higher price ticket, so they've had to go for her first to try and retain her. But actually, they should have thought bigger picture and gone, we go your world-class match winner first and then try and slot her in and take the risk of doing that. And so by not taking the risk, then you start to lose your options. And then I think they've been behind the 8 ball and maybe got a bit frazzled. So genuinely looking at that as a side, it doesn't add up. Yes, they've got some quality players in Devine and Elise Perry, but rounded-wise, they've just thrown the dimensions off a little bit.
Okay.
I don't get it at all. I mean, look, I get the batting side of it. When you add Amy Jones, Richa Ghosh, and Seren Smale, they're the players that they've added. Now, I think they're 3 high-quality, middle-order players. I think they needed an opener. Now, they may think about opening with Richa Ghosh. She did it for the London Spirit last year, but she's not an opener. I can tell you that for now. She's a middle-order power hitter. So that's where you bat her. So I don't know where they're going on that front. I think you need depth in these games. One of my favourite players is Hannah Baker, the leg spinner. I think she's a really, really fine bowler. Your spin options are very limited. You've got Katie Levick, Hannah Baker. If one of them doesn't come off, you may be struggling a little bit. So I don't understand. You watch, they'll win it now. I don't understand the policy that... if you're the number 1 pick, you can pick any player in the world. You could have picked Smriti Mandana and forced the Southern Brave into a right to match. You could have picked Meg Lanning or Beth Mooney or Ash Gardner. They're the 3. They're number 1 for me, Lanning. 1A is Gardner and 1B is Beth Mooney. They're your 3 world-class elite players, and you haven't selected one of them with your number 1 pick. What you've basically done is, in essence, you've picked the same side that you had last year and you've added a couple of players. Well, they finished last year. So I don't quite understand it, but I am more than happy, Birmingham Phoenix, to be proved fantastically wrong. And if you go and win it, then I will be eating humble pie by the truckload.
I'll be watching.
Well, that's what's so amazing about
You're
the 100,
with me.
isn't
You've
it?
got a pie with you. You're having a pie with me. We're sharing a humble pie.
You're sharing a humble pie. Well, you just don't know, do you?
That's
That
the
is the
thing.
beauty of the 100. It's very exciting.
And that's the beauty of a draft, isn't it? We don't know. I mean, we can make all of these analysis and we can have a look. You don't know how a team's going to gel. You don't know about the personalities. personalities within a squad and how they mix. You hope you do. A couple of things as well that need sort of ironing out. Captains need to be selected in a couple of those, in 4 of those sides. I know that the Birmingham Phoenix need to select a captain. I think Manchester have got Sophie Eccleston, London Spirit, Heather Knight. Oval Invincibles, I don't think have selected a captain. I may be wrong, but I don't think they have.
Breaks last year.
Yeah, it was. So
they'll have to play around.
Trent Rockets as well. Welsh Fire, Tammy Beaumont. Northern Superchargers, Holly Armitage. Love Holly Armitage. I think she's a great captain. And actually the Southern Brave with Anya Shrubsole's retirement. So they need to pick a captain too.
Daggers, I thought you were going to come in here and kind of sit back and take a break before we get going with the men's draft, but that has not been the case. We love it, and that's what we want to see. Thank you so much, as always, for your fantastic insight.
Do you need a keeper? The Birmingham Phoenix have got one they can lend. Okay.
So listen, we've got to move on. We've got plenty to get through. There we go. The women's draft is done. All 8 teams have completed their picks. We're going to be heading back to Abby shortly, who's joined by some of the players. Before we do that, though, it's time to take a look at the Robinsons' flavour of the 100.
He does go behind square leg side. Jordan did not hide it. Dropped in the crowd. I'm not surprised with those things on.
It won't happen. The Northern Superchargers win the Northern Derby.
The boys are here. I thought there might have been one of them, but there's about 6 or 7 of them. So we've got about 7 or 8 balls or something like that. All of them landed exactly like that, right on cue.
He takes a catch. Nice to see.
But he's gone straight and he's got hold of that. It was the low Yorker, and not only is it cleared the ropes, it was a spectacular catch by the groundsman.
Oh, great hands.
We spent a lot of time making bracelets, and we thought it'd be really cute to give out some to the crowd.
An intruder. She can do it all, can't she, Alex Hartman?
Top edge, should go all the way. Shortish boundary that side, into the crowd for 6.
Oh, it is a one-hander as well.
What a catch, what a catch.
Backing away from his stumps. This time gives himself an opportunity to swing through. Lovely catch in the crowd as well.
Was this clean in? Yeah, it was.
We have managed to grab the tail enders just before they head out of here. So I'm pleased to say we've got Greg and Machin on my right, and on my left we've got Jimmy and Felix. Good to see you guys.
Hello.
So what have you guys been doing here today, just before we talk about cricket, I guess?
We've been recording a podcast live. Well, not live. We've been recording a podcast all about the 100. All about the 100.
The whole point of a podcast is not live.
Yeah, we've had some great guests on as well. Charlotte Edwards came on, NASA, Sam Billings, and Grace Ballinger. So it's been good.
Yeah, all the big names, which is nice. Greg, I know you and Felix, as co-chairs of Oval Invincibles, you were at the Oval. I saw it on your social media. So what was happening? What were you doing?
Making deals, just deciding who to keep, who to axe. We talked at very sort of, we operate at sort of board level now. Right. So a lot of that stuff, Nick, we're not really allowed to talk about. But we can let you into a few of the secrets they lay on lunch whenever we go there, which is really nice. So the ECB money is being spent really wisely.
Right. What kind of stuff do they have in there?
I think there was a sort of a curry option. Okay. Which they put on for us. But in all seriousness, the lunch was delicious. And we are excited for the new season because last season, we genuinely are, by the way, co-chairs of Oval Invincibles.
Yeah, that's real.
And last year we sort of didn't have much of a run-up to it, but this year we do, because we were offered the job maybe the day before the season started.
Yeah, I think the tournament was underway when we were offered it, actually.
Yeah. But this year we genuinely have done board meetings and chatted about how exciting it is to bring some new players in and what the squad's going to be like, getting to know the coaches a bit in the run-up to the actual tournament. So it's been fun, and it's sort of scarily real, isn't it, Fee?
It is scary real, and what is also scary about it is, Nick, as you will know, that Oval Invincibles have won it 3 years on the bounce. So the women won it the first 2 years, and the men won it the third. So we can only fail, actually, in our role as co-chairs of Oval Invincibles. But what we will do is make it a beautiful place to be. And like, as you know, in South London, the Oval is like a miraculous expanse of land, like in heavily built up London. So it's really like spiritually for us coming here a beautiful place to go.
It really is, to add to your point, it really is the sort of worst possible timing to take over this role.
It's a poison chalice.
Because if something does go wrong, then there are two people that are definitely to blame. Like, very clearly it's our fault.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pressure on the teams to deliver.
I mean, I will say this, there is one thing that the teams can do better, and that's, I said this to Sam Billings earlier, double champions. You know, nobody's done that yet.
Yes.
Yes.
And we will say this now.
Go on.
If we aren't double champions...
Don't say whatever you're going to say, don't say it.
Then we will have to have some serious conversations with Tom Moody.
OK, that is a very bold thing to say. Do you know what's making me think is when Brian Clough took over at Leeds, he said Don Revie had won it, and Brian Clough said, I can only win it again, but I'm going to win it better.
Right.
Brian Clough was sacked after about 40 days.
Right, OK.
So that might be, again, a poison chalice, but we'll wait and see, won't we?
So we are pledging now that we will win it better. OK.
Jimmy,
Okay.
how does this make you feel? You know, you got a stand named after you at Old Trafford. You know, hearing these two banging on about the Oval Invincibles.
Yeah, well, I am actually the least involved in the 100 out of all 5 of our members, including our producer, Sharky. I'm not really affiliated with any team. I support Manchester Originals, being from Manchester. But seeing, like, Greg and Felix now actually... I'd love to be in a board meeting to see what you actually do and what you actually give to that.
So would I.
That environment. But everyone's so heavily involved in it. And to be honest, I love the fact that after 6 years of doing our podcast, that these guys are so in love with the game and want to make a difference and want to be involved in it. So I'm just happy to sit back and watch them.
Yeah. But that is true. I mean, we are also joking around because us doing this job is sort of funny. But we do love cricket so much. It's our #1 love in the world, including our partners. And it's so interesting to be on the inside and look at... Our first meeting we had was about player welfare and about kit and kit sizes and team buses that need to be booked and training facilities that need to be booked in Beckenham and wherever else. It was so interesting to be in that side of it. And actually, if we can have a fun run-up to this new season, our role, we think, is to really try and bring as many people into the game as possible and just say, do you know what? A night out or an afternoon at the Oval is just a great thing to do. If you don't know anything about cricket, if you've sort of got a passing interest, if your kid's sort of like sporty-ish or maybe want to get into a sport, then come down to the 100 and watch a game, because you'll be surrounded by people who just want to have a nice time. Yeah. And in front of you will be some of the most talented cricketers on the planet. That's a really cool thing. Yeah. So that's why we genuinely love being involved, as well as the free lunches.
Yeah, the free lunches are good. I popped up to see you last year in the chairman's box. I look forward to coming to see you again this year.
You're welcome any time, Nick.
You're fishing, but you're welcome.
Yeah.
You're on to me. Right, Tailenders, thank you very much. Thank you for swinging by to see us. But right now, let's hear from our sponsors, Sage.
Doing my accounts is a bit like a time sponge. It's really time consuming. Anything that can help me and make my life easier, give me 5 minutes more to spend with my daughter, or get to the pub earlier on a Friday night, I will honestly take it on.
Sage's tools help small business owners like Kaylee have more time for those precious little moments. Sage, helping business flow.
Wow, what a night so far. We are gearing up to the 4th edition of the 100 2024. And it's fair to say we were treated to some absolutely spectacular moments in the men's competition last year. So let's get to the best bits of them before the men's draft.
unmissable, catch him in off, pulls straight, leans Josh Little up.
Oh my goodness, that's come off his head. Oh, it's on a plate for Root at the moment. That's the difficulty of bowling to him.
What a
catch. Taken on the boundary. 1, 2, 3. Overton wins it for the originals.
Outstanding from the Oval Invincibles. They are the 100 men's champions 2023.
Yeah, I've hot-footed it back to the studio here next to Ebony Rainford-Brent. It was nice to have a chat with the tail enders. What great guys they are.
They're all right, aren't they? Yeah. You look settled in. You should join.
I don't think they'd have me, unfortunately, but I would love to hang out with them a little bit more, that's for sure. Well, listen, we've seen the women's draft now, and we're looking ahead to the men's competition. You excited about this? We saw Oval Invincibles lifting the trophy there on the VT. They'll be hoping to do that again.
Yeah, again, I think it's the same sort of thing here, where the goal is to try and get as much of a consistent squad as possible. The men can retain up to 10 players, which is more than the women, actually. The women are only 8, plus they're England players. So there is more room to have a bit of consistency. But again, you've got to get your big prices right. And then also, I guess, the money is quite considerably higher. So, the top ticket is 125k for the guys, which is not bad, down to 40. So, again, people are going to be gunning for those top spots because it's quite juicy and it means a lot.
Yeah, those big numbers. And what's really interesting, the thing that I love about the draft is that some teams have occupied their 2 biggest bands. So, they're out of the running for essentially the big hitters because, they've taken those slots already.
Yeah, and they've decided to just stick with that. And then the other is, got players like Jason Roy who's put himself in at 100 grand, which is great. He's a high-quality player, but it is also a risk. What if the teams go for the big ticket names early doors and you end up exposing yourself? So again, it's like there's a lot of like cat and mouse. Where do you go? Who's going to go for those ones? But I think it's a smart move. If you can retain a 125 match-winning player, then you go for that option because you know that some of those players are going to win you the tournament.
Well, listen, Ebbs, you explained that so well, but just in case you didn't manage to catch all of it, here is a little explainer for the men's draft.
The teams are ready to make their picks in the 100 draft powered by Sage. Here's how the men's draft will work. The selection process has already started, with teams able to retain up to 10 players from their 2023 squads, plus an England centrally contracted player which were announced on the 100 deadline day. Teams don't have to use all of their allocation of retained players, meaning they'd have more slots to fill during the draft. Trent Rockets only retained 8 players, which means they'll have 6 picks in the draft. The salary band where retained players were signed impacts the draft too, with teams needing to fill up the spaces in their squad. Teams will select players consecutively from their top vacant salary band down until they have 14 signed players. The draft order will be the reverse of the 2023 standings, which means Northern Superchargers will pick first, while Oval Invincibles will go last. Not every team will pick in each round, however. For example, as Oval Invincibles haven't got any spaces in their squad until the 9th salary band, their first pick will be the 19th. Each team will get 1 right to match card to use during the draft on any player from their 2023 squad that hasn't been retained, which will keep that player at that team for 2024. We saw that last year when Southern Brave used their right to match to keep Tim David in their squad when Welsh Fire tried to pick him in the first round. Teams are also able to re-sign any other players they had previously not retained without a right to match card, but only if other teams don't pick them first. After the conclusion of the draft, the 16-player squads will be finalised later in the summer, when the final 2 positions in each squad will be filled during the Vitality Wildcard draft. Teams will be allowed a maximum of 3 overseas players in their completed squads. So there you have it, that's how the 100 draft powered by Sage will work.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you, Kenzie, for the explainer. So very similar to the last one. It's from worst to best, and then it just goes round snaking around. So let's just give you a little bit more meat on the bones for that, because for the men's draft, there's only 32 spots up for grabs. So if I take a look at the player grid right now, there are only 32 spots up for grabs. 247 domestic players are trying to get those some of those 32 spots, but 14 of those are going to be made up by overseas players. A whopping 389 overseas players have tendered themselves to be available for the draft, and only 14 are actually available to be selected. So this is how that grid that you just saw will actually work in practice and the pick order. So if we just take a look at actually whose turn it will be first to last, the Northern Superchargers are kicking things off. Freddie Flintoff as the coach there, his first selection. All of those 389 players that he can choose from, he will be selecting first. The Northern Superchargers actually have 2 in the top 12, so they've got a couple of selections. London Spirit are picking 2nd and 7th. The Birmingham Phoenix have a selection. Rockets, Fire, Brave are 6th and 12th as well. So that is the order of what's going to be happening in the men's competition. Let's take a look at the team needs then, what I think each of these sides are going to be looking at. The Superchargers, for argument's sake, lost Adam Lythe as an opening bat. They need numerous different things from me, as they were the worst team from last season. Lots of options for them to try and boost their squad. I think the Birmingham Phoenix, they need a wrist spinner. They also need an opening bat. You just go right down. And I think actually at the bottom end of those sides, you look at Southern Brave, the Manchester Originals and the Oval Invincibles. It's very difficult to find things that they might actually need because they are so well-rounded, their sides. Plenty of bowling depth, plenty of batting depth. So really they can be very, very selective about who they pick and where they feel they can boost their squad. So let's have a look at some of the overseas players you might want to keep an eye on, and there's plenty of them to go at. Nicholas Pooran went for $1.6 million in the IPL, and he went to the Lucknow Super Giants. He's going to be one to keep an eye on. The top 3 are in the £125,000 bracket, so that once that's gone, they are gone as well. David Warner, that player that he's pantomime villain, isn't he? But the quality of the player is unquestioned. He will be on a lot of teams' radars, as will Tim David at £100,000. He can change the game in the middle order. Rachin Ravindra, who had such a brilliant World Cup for New Zealand, he's around £75,000. And if you just head down to the bottom, Jake Fraser-McGurk, he's just made his debut for Australia. He bashes it. He is a bargain at £40,000. So well worth keeping an eye on some of those. As for the domestic players that you can keep an eye on, well, Jason Roy he's been let go at the Oval Invincibles. He's got a reserve of £100,000. So if he doesn't go in those brackets, he is not going to get a side for this year. Darren Milan was let go by the Trent Rockets. One I like is Marchant de Lange. Now, he's at £40,000 if you need an experienced pace bowler. Had a huge success at the Trent Rockets. He will be an interesting selection as well. But right down the order, Banton Evans, TKC, Dan Mousley, Jordan Thompson, and 2 young under-19, well, former under-19 and James Rue. Brilliant championship season for Somerset last year. Keep an eye if he gets selected. And Taz Ali, the young Warwickshire leg spinner. OK, so that's who we're going to be looking out for. Let's head to Nick Kenzie, who's with the Oval Invincibles captain, Sam Billings.
Yes, indeed, we are, Daggers. Very, very much looking forward to the men's draft getting underway. Northern Superchargers, of course, with that first pick. Sam, how exciting is it to have Freddie involved with the 100?
Incredible. Growing up, watching him, the personality, he is infectious in any group he is in. So to see him obviously back involved in cricket is an asset to everyone, not only the competition, but the Superchargers boys are very, very lucky to have him.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know, he's a figure he's known beyond cricket. You know, he's gone into telly and Top Gear and all the different things that he's done. The 100 has not struggled to attract new fans, but it can't help having someone like Freddie involved.
Absolutely. You're spot on. In terms of all the work he's done away from cricket, shows kind of the calibre of the bloke. So to have him back in his old kind of stomping ground and, you know, being an influential character in a dressing room, that's what he kind of made his name for. So, like I said, it's a great asset to the whole competition, not only up north, and actually for him being a Lancastrian over at Headingley, that'd be quite funny to see him over there as well.
What a player he was, by the way.
Yeah.
We've got to mention that. How would he have fared in the 100, Sam?
I think he would have been one of the top picks, that is for sure. Any player, all-rounder, great fielder as well, huge value in the modern game as well. So he obviously played the IPL, played for Chennai, I think, Big Bash, Brisbane, and all around the world as well. So, you know, he would have been hot property in this competition.
Yeah, and we know that the Northern Superchargers had a tough year last year, you know, finishing bottom, which is why they get to pick first. But having a legend like Freddie around, that will give the players a lift that are there. They'll want to perform for him, won't they? Does that worry you as the you know, the reigning captain, I guess?
Worry's the wrong word. I think respect is the key one. I think he will have a great influence, of course. You know, it'll be interesting to see how he goes coaching as well. Probably his first head coach role. So that might take a little bit of time to kind of find his feet. But yeah, I mean, having first pick, it doesn't get much better than that. And there's some great players to pick from.
It certainly doesn't get much better than that. And there are some great players to pick from. So if you were in the hot seat, if you were Freddie tonight, who would you be picking first?
Well, yeah, I think looking at their kind of squad, I think Tom Banton's gone back into the draft, so they probably need a wicket-keeper. And for me, one of the best in the world, apart from Josh Butler, of course, is Nicholas Pooran. So I'm thinking he'll go certainly in the top 3 picks. And then obviously I think Andre Russell is still in the mix. On his day, he's as good as anyone. But any of the West Indian boys, they're hot property in this format of the game.
So, cheers, Sam. Thank you for the minute. Those are Sam's ones to watch, I should say. But there's a few more that you should be keeping your eye on as well.
Going away, and that'll be the first boundary.
Lovely shot. Excellent use of the feet. And he goes to third man. Should be taken. Easy catch. Gone.
Shot. That'll be 4. Excellent shot.
Again, he premeditates. This could go all the way, you know.
Nice way to finish it as well. Off stump out of the ground for Josh Little.
High it goes again and very firmly struck.
Catch it. Shouts a catch. And taken it a second time.
Oh, we are ready. Yes, the women's squads are locked in, and now it's time for the men.
Yes, indeed. The men's 100 draft is about to get underway. So, Daggers, over to you.
Okay, so we have done all of the women's draft. That is completed, and reactions coming in, and keep them coming in. Get in touch with us as well using hashtag the100draft on your selections for the women. Now we turn our attention to the men and the top bracket, the £125,000 bracket. So you're expecting some of the best players in the world to be selected here. There are plenty to choose from, and one of the most intriguing scenarios is up at Headingley for the Northern Superchargers. Had a bit of a shocker last year. And how are Freddie Flintoff and his crew going to select with the #1 pick? They have gone and mentioned about Nicholas Pooran and that huge amount of money that he went for to the Lucknow team in the IPL. They have made him their #1 pick, and there's a lot to love about this. A left-hander, he can keep as well, and he is devastating in the middle order. And it depends where Freddie decides to bat him, but they've got plenty of options. They did need an opener, whether he can do that role or whether they just shuffle the order around and maybe select one a little bit later down the line. But a big pick, 125,000. #1 pick in the men's draft this year is the West Indies international Nicholas Pooran. Let's move on. The London Spirit. Which way will they go? They've gone West Indies as well. Andre Russell, what's there to say about this guy? I mean, again, with the bat, with the ball, he is a game changer. He's a great character. I think he's really going to enjoy playing at Lord's as well in front of those huge crowds that they get down there. And I think that, again, it's a player who does everything for you. You are strengthening your side with what he offers. And again, we talk about power hitting, but we talk about death bowling. They lost Jordan Thompson in the retention list, and they needed a death bowler that help out. Andre Russell can fill that void very nicely. So not only have they picked quality, but they've also picked for a certain need that they needed as well. So let's move on to the next pick, and this is the Birmingham Phoenix, and they've gone for pace. How about this? Adam Milne and Naseem Shah. Sam Billings is just behind me over there, and I'm just trying to get a read on what he feels about facing Naseem Shah and Adam Milne. He's just gone, you know, bring it on. But this is a serious bowling lineup. They want pace. They've got it in Naseem Shah, Pakistan international. Did play at the Oval Invincibles as well, so Billings will know him and what he's got to look forward to in the forthcoming season. So Naseem Shah has gone to the Birmingham Phoenix. Let's move to the Trent Rockets. Where are they going? Rothman Powell. It's all West Indies at this moment in time. There's absolutely tons of them. Nicholas Pooran, Andre Russell and Rothman Powell. And yet again, you are getting a seriously good player. And Trent Rockets, big high scoring ground, relatively short boundaries. He ain't got a problem hitting any boundary in the world. Rothman Powell, and again, it's a really solid and very, very high quality selection from the Trent Rockets. And it seems that's where they're going, bar the Birmingham Phoenix. All of the three selections from the Superchargers, the Spirit and the Rockets have gone for power hitting and those who offer with the ball as well. So, the Welsh Fire, let's move to them. Welsh Fire, far improved last season. They have decided to use their 125 pick on a domestic player, and that is Tom Kohler-Cadmore. Now, he was at the Trent Rockets. He was released, but the 125, is this player a difference maker? Yes, he can be. He didn't have the success that he would expect last year, but this guy plays franchise cricket around the world. He's a big old unit. He can clear boundaries, and depending on where you bat him, you can bat him at the top of the order or down at 3 or 4. But they lost Awid Malan. They've replaced him with Tom Kohler-Cadmore. On to the Southern Brave. And, Cal Surprise, we have a West Indian big hitting all-rounder. They seem to be flying off the shelves at the moment. And Kieran Pollard, who, again, we know about, he's done it for a long period of time. We saw him down at Lords quite recently. Huge amount of experience. And again, the Southern Brave will be delighted because they did need that middle order power hitting option. And finally, their second pick in this £125,000 bracket is the London Spirit. And they've gone for a big hitting, powerful West Indian left-hander. They're really, really going to thrill the crowds down at Lords. Right, let's head back to the studio then. That's the first round completely done. Kenzie Benali has Nasser Hussain and Ebony Rain from Brent with her.
Yes, indeed, I do. Daggers, you make it look so easy. There we go then, the first round of picks in the men's draft. Nicholas Pooran going first there. Is that making sense to you, Nasser?
Yeah, I mean, there's some big hitters in there, and there's some big hitting West Indian cricketers in there. I guess last year it clashed a bit with the CPL. The CPL's a bit later, so you have got those West Indians. Pooran keeps wicket as well. First pick for Andrew Flintoff in the tournament. I think it's a good pick. I think there's a lot of experience in there. If you look at Andre Russell, 36 years of age when the tournament starts. Kieran Pollard, 37 years of age, played the most T20 cricket out of anyone in the world. So there's some seriously... I'm still getting over Daggers saying Kel Surprise, actually, but there are some big hitters. They've gone big hitters and pace. Naseem Shah, coming back from injury, had a really good PSL. He's a good signing.
Yeah, any that stand out for you in particular?
Well,
from
I was
that,
worried about the Lords boundary. I was just asking you off air. I said, how big is Lords? Because let's face it, they've gone for two 125 pick. Shimron Hetmeyer, of course, the left-hander. What I would say though, it does really tell you what coaches are thinking about where the game's going. As in, sometimes back in the day we say, is it the spinners that you're going to go first, and whether it's the Rashid Khan type. But everyone has gone for a big hitting, out the park type player. Clearly, it is all about cleaning the ropes. It's about dominating opposition. So that theme has come through very strong, and I think we're going to see quite a firecracker start to all of the games.
We love a boundary in the 100, don't we? That's what it's all about. We love sixes. I know it's hugely early days, but who's in front at this stage of the draft?
Too early to say, really. No Warner yet. A lot of talk about Warner, but there's still a couple of rounds there to go. So I think it's far too early to say. Obviously, the London Spirit with 2 picks in there and 2 big hitters, Russell and Hetmeyer, they look strong. The thing with the Oval Invincibles, because they've won it, I'm looking at their list. They could sit back, have a cup of tea, put their feet up. No wonder Sam Billings is just strolling around telling everyone what a great season they had. He could come back at midnight before they need to have their first pick. So I'm actually more interested in down the list and see there's some good value bets, I reckon, coming in down the order.
Well, Nasser, you mentioned there that Sam's just enjoying his evening, having a nice night and relaxing, and he's actually doing just that as we speak. He's with Nick and Emily in the lounge.
Yeah, that's right. Well, let's find out actually from Sam. Is that as Nasser saying it how it is? You know, have you got your feet up? Are you resting?
Chilling. Yeah, I actually didn't hear that, did I? So no, a bit of time to kill, but pretty relaxed. We've got everything under control at the Oval, I hope. So, yeah, looking forward to it kicking off.
Yeah, is it interesting kind of seeing the other teams scrap it out? Because, you know, you did your work in the retention, I guess. So, you know, you're not picking till later.
Yeah, absolutely. We're really happy with the squad, obviously, we had last year. Got the core side pretty much together. But looking at some of those names, no surprise that Nicholas Pooran went as pick number 1. For me, one of the best players in the world. And yeah, just shows his quality in all conditions. So he'll be a bit of a problem to come up with tactics against. But yeah, the West Indies, no surprise that they're proving popular. All those lads, such good players in this format.
Yeah, another good player in this format has headed to Welsh Fire. Is going to be playing with you, Emily. Tom Kohler-Cadmore. You happy with that?
Yeah, I think he's a great addition. I think he's a hard-hitting batter at the top of the order, and short boundaries at Sapphire Gardens, isn't there? So hopefully he can hit a few into the river. But no, I think he's going to be a great signing, a great addition, and builds on what's already a very good squad. Yeah, and Sam, you know, what kind of players are you looking to add later on?
Can't give too much away, can I? Probably watching in the other room. I think we'll go for some batting, bolster that batting. We're really lucky with, obviously, the Curran brothers. Both of them such great all-rounders, really balance our side up nicely. So we probably need a top order batter and obviously another overseas player to add to that as well. So can't give too much away. And Emily, one thing's for certain, we're going to see, you've already referenced it there, some massive sixes in 2024's competition in both the men's and the women's.
Yeah, I'm worried for all those children in the crowd, actually, all those West Indians. But look, it's great to see those big names, and there's going to be some fireworks, and yeah, I wouldn't want to be a bowler, I don't think. Yeah, that's for sure. Right, thank you for the time being, guys. As I say, there's going to be some huge sixes in the competition. We mentioned a few players, Andre Russell, one of those, Pooran as well, I'm sure. But let's have a look at some of the big sixes that have happened throughout the 100.
Down the pitch, heaved away to the leg side. 6, first maximum of the game.
That's gone a long way, a very long way.
That is slogged away into the deep. Beautiful shot over the leg side.
6 more. It is big all the way.
And that's been clubbed leg side. That's the shorter boundary. We have our first 6 of the 100.
Slower, wider this time, but met with a lovely lofted drive over extra cover and the huge cheer here.
OK, so we've got through the first round at the £125,000 mark. We then drop now to the next rounds where we're going from £100,000 to £50,000. Now, let me tell you that the Oval Invincibles don't even select in this little section. They're picking at number 19. So let's get through these now. The Trent Rockets, they needed, in my opinion, a finger spinner. They have got one. Imad Wasim goes back to Trent Bridge, the Pakistan international. Left arm spinner, can also whack it in the middle order. Really nice selection from the Trent Rockets. On to the Welsh Fire, and they have an overseas spot to fill, and that has been filled by Shaheen Shah Afridi, one of the most box office players in the world. Now, there is a bit of a question about availability. Now, don't forget, if they have international commitments, you can replace that player at the same band level. So some of the players that haven't been selected still might get an opportunity to play. But Shaheen Shah Afridi was brilliant for the Welsh Fire last year in the games that he played, and then he is returning to South Wales this coming year. On to the Manchester Originals. Now, I looked at the Originals. What did they need? They needed an opening bowler. They needed a spinner. They've got one, and they've got a really fun one, I think. Sikandar Raza has had a brilliant last 12 to 18 months for Zimbabwe and also in franchise cricket, and he is a difference maker. And when you've got Joss Buttler and Phil Salt at the top of the order, you need that middle order bolstering and that useful element. He does everything well, Sikandar Raza. Is he the biggest name in the world? No, he's not. But is he a quality player and a really astute pickup for the Manchester Originals? Yes, I really think he is. So that's the Manchester Originals have gone for the Zimbabwean Sikandar Raza. The Northern Superchargers, which crossed the Pennines, have gone for Daniel Sams, and this guy has been doing it a long time, both in Australia and here in England for Essex in the county system for the Trent Rockets last year. Left-hand opening bowler, can bat as well, bowls up front, bowls at the death, and can give it a big whack when needed. So again, another really solid overseas pick from the Northern Superchargers. The Southern Brave have gone Laurie Evans. What a player this guy is. He was with the Manchester Originals last year. I'm sure bowlers will be delighted that they don't have to go Salt, Buttler, Laurie Evans. Performed brilliantly for the Perth Scorchers in the Big Bash League, and again a fabulous power hitter and stroke maker. Laurie Evans, a very fine pickup for £75,000. That's a bargain for the Southern Brave. On to the Manchester Originals, and after picking Sikandar Raza, they've gone for another really interesting selection. Fazal Haq Faruqi, pace bowler from Afghanistan, number 15 in the World T20 rankings. And again, this is someone who's got really good change-ups and I think will bowl well on the Old Trafford surface. So that is where the Manchester Originals have gone. Let's go to the Trent Rockets. They got rid of Dawid Malan last year. They've replaced him with Tom Banton. I suggested that actually their first pick might have done that in Rodman Powell, but Tom Banton bolstering that top order for the Trent Rockets. Didn't have a great time of it with the Northern Superchargers last year. He wasn't retained. He finds a new home just down the M1 at Trent Bridge. And that's where he will play his cricket for the 100 this year. Let's move on to the Southern Brave, Akil Hussain. Again, a player, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know a great deal about. He's left-arm spinner from the West Indies. He made headlines recently. Ian Bishop having his commentary all over Akil Hussain. Again, a very useful cricketer, left-arm spinner. But again, I've not seen a great deal of him, but the Southern Brave have, and they're the ones who matter. And they have added Akil Hussain, the West Indies left-arm spinner. He also played at the Qatar Gladiators in the PSL. Northern Superchargers, Tom Laws is going to be playing pace bowler from Surrey. He has gone for £50,000. He will be opening the bowling, no doubt, at the Northern Superchargers. It's an area that I thought they needed to strengthen as well. They've done that. He's a very fine, promising young cricketer, and £50,000. Tom Laws has been selected in that section. London Spirit. Now, one of the things I said that they needed was a death bowler. They've got one in Richard Gleeson. Yeah, he's been round the houses. He only recently made his England T20 debut, if you remember, against India. I think it was a couple of years ago. But Rich Gleeson, you know what you're getting with Rich Gleeson, opening bowler, fierce competitor. Really like this selection from London Spirit. And finally, in this section, the Birmingham Phoenix have gone to Sean Abbott, the overseas player. Again, you get everything with him. Batting, bowling, quickest 100 in Vitality Blast. Watched that at the Oval last year. Fabulous pickup for the Birmingham Phoenix. They've got some pace, have the Birmingham Phoenix. And finally, I did mention the Oval Invincibles. Dawid Malan has ended up there, so he'll enjoy batting down there. So he's moved from the Trent Rockets and he's gone down with Sam Billings at the Oval Invincibles. And finally, the London Spirit. I've gone with Ollie Pope. That is where he will end up. How much he'll play, we'll have to wait and see. For a busy summer for him, no doubt. But Ollie Pope is going to Lord's. Right, that's the next section done. Plenty more to go. Let's head back to the studio as Charlotte Edwards is with Kenzie Benali.
Daggers, yes, and I imagine feeling remarkably more relaxed than you were a few hours ago, Charlotte. Are you happy with the way the draft went?
Yeah, really happy. I think, you know, we came here with a plan and, yeah, we're pretty much going back with what we wanted and, yeah, really delighted.
How pleased are you to see Smitty back at the Utilita Bowl?
Yeah, really happy. You know, obviously it was always part of our plan was to retain her, and I think Danny White will probably be more happier. They like walking out to bat at the Utilita Bowl, and they've been so prolific for us at the top of the order. So, yeah, it was a bit of a no-brainer to obviously bring Smitty back and, yeah, really, really chuffed.
Yeah, that is a pretty scary opening partnership, actually. Looking at other teams then, how would you assess their picks and who are the teams to potentially watch?
I think, you know, you've got to look at every team because they've all got match winners in them. And I think the calibre of overseas this year with many of the Australians in there makes every team look really strong. So, yeah, like I think with this short tournament it is and 100 balls, yeah, there's so many match winners in all the teams.
You've said that you're pleased with the way the draft's gone. I'm certainly not surprised. But how do you prepare for a night like this? We were speaking off camera that there are so many eventualities that can happen with the right to match cards. You need to be so reactive. So how do you even go about preparing?
I guess the preparation starts, you know, obviously when you're with your retain list. So you've got an idea of the skeleton of your team that you want to put together. And then I guess some late nights in India over the last month. I've been sitting there kind of putting my plan together and talking to our analyst and obviously talking to the team down at the Utilita Bowl. Yeah, and you know, you obviously know the type of people you want, the type of play you want, and that's all comes into the mix. But yeah, on the day, things move quickly. 100 seconds goes very, very quickly when you're trying to sort of get those thoughts together. But yeah, it was relatively easy for us today. Last year wasn't as easy because I was in Mumbai on a call and I kept thinking the call was failing at times. But yeah, it was all good.
Yeah, it's nice to actually be here amongst the action, I can imagine, and feel the buzz of the place. Now, we spoke to Sam Billings about this earlier, but does it feel different or perhaps make a difference for you being a title-winning team? Is the pressure on a bit more?
I think the pressure's been on us every year, if I'm honest. You know, making 2 finals and obviously being runners-up and then to do it third time lucky. You know, I feel pressure every time I go into any draft or auction because, you know, you want to win. You know, that's part of our jobs is obviously to create a team that can win the competition. So, you know, last year's irrelevant really. It's about now getting this group of players to perform the way we want to and enjoying the tournament because it is such a great tournament. We were just talking earlier, weren't they? August is the best time of year down in Southampton where the sun's out most of the time. And yeah, it's just done so much for the women's game, the 100, and I can't wait for August.
Absolutely. Roll on August. We love it, don't we? Get us back to the Utilita Bowl. All right, we're going to head back to Abby now. Abby, we've got some unbelievable giveaways tonight.
Absolutely, Kenzie, an unbelievable giveaway. We are giving away 4 tickets to the 100 finals on Sunday, the 18th of August, and we are loving your selfies so far. There have been some corkers. Let's take a little look at some standout ones. Oh, here we go. Looking great, repping merch, looking fabulous. Let's have another one. Oh, an ice cream at the bridge and fireworks coming out. Wow, just fabulous. All right, let's have a look at one more. Oh, there we go, at Trent Bridge, where the crowd apparently is always absolutely incredible. So keep those photos coming in. The hashtag is the 100 draft. The competition is closing at midnight tonight, and then tomorrow we are going to be picking the winner. So this time tomorrow, you might be in a great mood. And keep those questions coming in. I'm going to be in the lounge later on chatting to some of the players. So any burning questions, hurry up, get involved in the comments or on the hashtag on socials, the 100 draft. And back to Daggers for those last picks.
Yeah, thanks very much, Abby. And it's fast and furious. The pace of it is absolutely incredible. So let's go through the rest of the selections. This is from £40,000 down to £30,000. Well worth remembering as well, you get 2 wildcard picks after the Vitality Blast, so they can add to the squads after that competition has finished. So let's kick on. The first pick, the Northern Superchargers in this section have gone with the Durham batter, opening batter Graham Clark, and I really like they needed an opening batter. He has got great quality. He scores very, very quickly. Proper player is Graham Clark. Really like that selection for the Northern Superchargers. Onto the Birmingham Phoenix, James Fuller has been selected. Again, a vastly experienced bowler, can bowl good heat as well, get it up to 88, 89 miles an hour, and he bowls a heavy old ball, and I think he'll do nicely at Edgbaston. They've bolstered that seam unit there. He can also give it a whack at the bottom of the order. The Trent Rockets have gone to Calvin Harrison. So he has been selected by the Trent Rockets. Let's fire through some of these. The Welsh Fire, Jake Ball has gone back to the Welsh Fire. You get a very experienced seam bowler with Jake Ball. Onto the Southern Brave, Danny Briggs going back to Hampshire. The left-arm spinner, a huge amount of experience, a vast amount of short-form cricket wickets, and Danny Briggs is their selection. The Manchester Originals, I think they needed a seam bowler. They've gone for the young, tall, 6'8" left-arm bowler from Leicestershire, Josh Hull. Can swing it as well. He can get an amount of bounce with that height as well. On to the Oval Invincibles. They've got back-to-back picks here. They've gone with Donovan Ferreira. Now, not very well known in these parts, but he plays for the Rajasthan Royals in the IPL, 2 T20 internationals, a batter who can bowl a little bit of off-spin as well. And Donovan Ferreira is their selection as an overseas player at £40,000. They then go on to get Tom Lammonby, who again is one of these players that can change a game. He's got all of the flicks and the tricks with the bat. He can bowl seam with the ball, brilliant in the field. So I think that's a great selection for the Oval Invincibles. The Trent Rockets, I wondered when this guy would get picked. He's one of my favourite cricketers. He's got a lot about him. He's feisty, can bowl at the death. He bowls the tough overs, and he can give it a fair whack as well. Jordan Thompson, who was at the Spirit last year, goes to the Trent Rockets. Again, another player who I said, look out for. You're going to get a bargain in Dan Mousley and the Birmingham Phoenix. He stays at Edgbaston, the Warwickshire player, off-spinner, left-handed batter who whacks it. The London Spirit, 2 more picks to go. Michael Pepper, keeper batter from Essex. He is at the London Spirit. And the final selection in the men's draft, the Trent Rockets. They wanted a left-hand opening batter. They have got that in Adam Lyth. So a hugely experienced player for the Trent Rockets. The men's draft is done. I'm going for a sit down. Nasser Hussain is with Kenzie Bilali.
Oh, yeah, take a breather, Daggers. So much to get through there. How would you assess the way the men's draft went, Nasser?
Yeah, I think, as I said earlier, the value is actually down below because a lot of sides have kept some of their senior players, haven't changed that much. You know, you look at the Welsh Fire, Shaheen Shah Afridi's gone back there, Jake Ball is back there. So really, they're pretty much the same side. Kola Cadmore has gone there from the Trent Rockets. But David Milan, I think, is a good one, Oval Invincibles, a world-class player, but the value for him, he moved away from the Trent Rockets, but also he'll like the conditions at the Oval Invincibles. Dan Mousley, I think, is an excellent cricketer. He had a good blast. He didn't have such a good 100 last year, but if you talk to the people in the know, he is one with a massive, massive upward curve. And Jordan Thompson and Adam Lyth, these are sort of cricketers. You look at any franchise tournament, 100 tournament, we all focus in on the massive names, but it's those domestic cricketers that put in consistent performances. And if you've watched Jordan Thompson or Adam Lyth over the last 4 or 5, longer with Lyth, you'll know they've put in some serious performances. So the value down the bottom is just as important.
Yeah, indeed. Well, let's talk Ollie Pope. He'll be heading to London Spirit. He obviously hasn't had a chance for England's white ball team yet, but we know he has such great ability. Could this be a good shop window for him for his shortest format game?
Yeah, I mean, he's been hampered by injury, really. So that's why he hasn't really grown as a white ball cricketer, and also the amount of great white ball cricketers England have. Last season he missed out on the 100. The season before he only played 2 games. Who knows how much he'll play this year, because obviously there's a test series in and around the 100. So that's the problem with England players, is their availability, and if they have been playing, do they need a rest? There's so much cricket, the schedule is such a tight one, but Pope is a fantastic player. We've seen him play a variety of sweeps. He sweeps off the wrong foot sometimes, gets his hands in weird positions, but we saw that in India, the way he swept the ball. So if he did play in the 100 and played a lot of it, he could really grow as a white ball cricketer.
And what about Sean Abbott? Of course, he's heading to Birmingham Phoenix. We know that he can give it a whack.
Absolutely. They've done well. They've gone with a bit of pace. He can give it a whack. He's got a bit of pace there as well. So bats, bowls, very good in the field. Another good signing.
Well, Nasser, always great to have your company. Thank you so much for your insight. Time to get back to Abby, who's settled in the lounge with some of the players.
Yes, I've made myself very comfy, and as you can see, I'm in the presence of greatness right now. 4 of this year's players, and as promised, I'm going to put your questions to them. So let's see what's come in them from you guys. There's been plenty, so we've tried to pick the best ones. If you had to put your house on one player to shine this summer, who is it? I think I should make you all answer this. Going to put you all on the spot. Let's start this side.
Nicholas Pooran. For me,
yeah,
world class, and #1 pick for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to stay at Southern Brave. I'm going to go with Jofra Archer. Obviously hasn't played for the first few years, but touch wood, this is the year he comes and lights up the 100 for us.
Yeah, that'll be super exciting. How about this side? What are we saying?
I'm going to go with Superchargers and Phoebe Litchfield. She was just exceptional for us last year. Her variation of shots is just incredible, and obviously she scored a lot of runs for us last year, so I expect we'll see it again this year.
Well, let's hope so.
Obviously going to go Welsh try as well, Shabnam Ismail. She's bowled over 80 mile an hour, so she's bowling rockets at the moment. I'm sure she's going to take some poles for us this summer. Yeah,
absolutely. All incredible picks. All right, let's look at the next question then. How many wicket keepers is too many wicket keepers? That's a good one. Sam, what do you reckon?
11. You should just have 11, shouldn't you? Yeah, I mean, obviously only one can get the job, but generally speaking, wicket keepers are up there as the better fielders. So, yeah, good batters, good wicket keepers, and obviously in the field as well. So, probably 3 is probably about the max. We're quite loud as well and annoying. So.
Universally known as the worst blokes in the changing room.
Oh, big chat, I see. Okay. All right, let's get another question, because I know there's been absolutely loads, and I did promise I'd get through as many as possible. What is your dream 5-a-side, the 100 team, a mix of men and women? This is a big question. Who wants to start?
Are we talking about football? Well, we've got 4 here, actually. I'll take us
how are
2.
your football skills? Anyone do a bit?
Bilbo rates himself next door.
Oh, really? Okay.
Very high.
I'm loving this. All giving each other grief. Are you sure? Okay, well, as soon as we finish filming, I need to see this.
Five-side cricket team, I'm guessing.
Yes.
So, I'm going to go Joss Butler for me. Why don't we pick one each?
Yes, like it.
Well.
All right.
I'm going to go Joss Butler for #1.
I'll take Brookie, Harry Brook.
I'm going to go Alice Capsey. I love seeing her at the Oval.
We need some bowling.
Yeah. yeah, that's a good point, yeah.
I'm going to go Ash Gardner, all-rounder, bit of off-spin.
Nice.
We need a seamer, don't we?
Grace Ballinger.
Didn't want to say it myself. I'm going to go Lauren Bell.
All right, let's get to one more question then. Who's going to be the lucky person? Can you get the Shard lit up in pink and green for the whole of the 100? I mean, we did it earlier. I mean, last night, and it looked beautiful. I mean, what other landmarks would we like to see lit up? I'm thinking maybe like the London Eye or something. What else? Or maybe like almost like a projection on the side of like a museum or the Tate or something. That'd be quite cool.
I like the London theme, by the way. Yeah, sorry. I like the London theme. We'll stick with London, shall we?
Yeah, exactly.
South London especially.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much to you guys for your questions. And now let's take a look at something that I am very passionate about, that is always such a moment at the 100, and that is live music. box office cricket is guaranteed at the 100. But it's more than that. The 100 is such a spectacle. It's for everybody. There's so much to see. There's the DJs, the team DJs, providing the music on match days and live music, as you just saw there. And some of the names that we've got on at the 100 this year, I would kill to go and see them at a festival. And also, the partnership with BBC Music Introducing continues. So there's going to be great emerging artists up on that stage as well. You know, headliners of the future. You get to say that you saw them first. And at the cricket as well. It is going to be a fantastic summer, that is for sure. I am getting so excited. But for now, I'm going to hand back to Kenzie in the studio, who has got some very special guests with her.
Indeed, I do. Daggers is back with us in our Sage studio, as is Nasser Hussain. We're going to unpick everything that we've just seen happen in the men's draft. There's way too much to get through in a few minutes. But I suppose the big question is, on paper right now, looking at those squads, who's winning, Nasser?
Good question. Well, Southern bias. Southern sides have done very well with it. Obviously, Trent Rockets won it a couple of years ago, but I like the Oval Invincibles. They've not changed too much. My gut feel looking at it is that, like the first year we did the draft, and you left Sky where it was held, thinking the Southern Brave, that looks a very strong side with their bowling attack. They look like they're going to win it, and they did. And then last year you left with the feeling Welsh Fire, from where they have been, both men and women actually, the Welsh Fire look like they've seriously improved on the draft. I don't get any gut feeling with that. I just think sides have tinkered a bit and improved a little bit in key areas. The one Birmingham Phoenix, it's not so much what they've added, and they've added pace with the likes of, you know, Sean Abbott and Naseem Shah to go with the pace they've got there already, and Adam Milne. But for them, the key is the players that didn't perform last year. The likes of Liam Livingstone, Moeen Ali, Will Smeed. So if they can get those big guns performing with the additions they've made and make Birmingham and Edgbaston that fortress that it was, Birmingham Phoenix could have a very good 100 this year.
Yeah, it's so hard to call at this stage, isn't it, Daggers, when we're just looking at those names on the player grid there. But if you had to call it, who's looking strongest for
Well,
you?
it's interesting. I wrote down a load of team needs and what I thought, and this is not, you know, this is only my opinion of what, and I reckon a lot of those sides have actually picked for needs. You look at some of the players that haven't been selected, and it's easy, I reckon, Nasser, to suggest that you look at the names and big bright lights, and you think, well, I've got to get them because they're a great player available. Teams haven't necessarily done that. You look at players who haven't been selected. Daryl Mitchell, I've written down here, Sunil Narain, Tim David wasn't selected, Babar Azam, Mujib, David Warner didn't go. So it's interesting about the selections. One other thing about the Pakistan players and David Warner and as well, availability is something that sides look at a lot of, and whether they're going to be available for the entirety of the season, and that might have had a leaning towards some of them. But I look at the team needs. A lot of those teams have selected players that they desperately needed. A good example is London Spirit. The first thing that I had on my list, middle order batters. Well, their first two selections are Shimron Hetmyer and Andre Russell. They've covered that base. For me, the most intriguing ones were the Manchester Original. They've got a great side. They've got a really good side. When you have Butler and Salt at the top of the order, that you're a good side automatically. But I think Sikandar Raza and Fazal Haq Faruqi are names that are not necessarily on the top of anyone's list, but I reckon they've looked at it. What will fit us well at Old Trafford? What do we need to try and overcome the Oval Invincibles like they did last year in the final? And I think it's an interesting selection.
Yeah, and also who you need as a replacement. You know, Jason Roy moving away from the Oval Invincibles, not retained either because of form or he's going to be off in America playing in that league. Who are we going to replace? We don't want to. We're the champions. We don't want to take any risks. David Milan comes in quite low down that list because they had to wait that long. You would say that's a good replacement. When you walk in that dressing room, or if he opens, they push David Milan out to bat with Will Jacks or whoever he'll open with. That looks a good top order. So it's not just the gaps you need to fill that you haven't had before. There's a player that may have left or is not available. How do we replace that?
Yeah, it is so exciting. We've really enjoyed both the men and women's draft. It's been fantastic. And I think it's fair to say that the 100 2024 is in very safe hands.
And have a look at this.
catches it, releases it, athleticism, brilliance, a masterclass in boundary fielding.
Yeah, and that is what it is all about. That's what tonight has been all about. You know, I'm so looking forward to 2024, and all of us have gathered now behind Abby's decks.
Yeah, I can maybe teach you guys a thing or two before the summer.
I really want to.
No, you know what? We haven't got enough time, unfortunately. But you know, maybe next time. I reckon Daggers could do a bit on the decks. You know,
the 70s disco. I'm absolutely.
If I hear one more request for 70s disco, I'm gonna hit the roof.
Oh, it's been so fun, hasn't it? We knew it was going to be an unbelievable night. We should thank Sage really for their hospitality.
Absolutely.
What a setting.
I mean, we've literally taken over their place of work and turned it into the 100 studios, essentially. It's been pretty amazing.
Yeah, it has been. So many amazing picks.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's the draft. I love the draft, as you know, and it's fast and it's furious and it's so interesting. And all of this is a prelude to what we're going to get in the summer. We're going to get great entertainment. We're going to get great music. Abby's going to be spinning some 70s disco. It's going to be the whole aspect of this is just a prelude to what we're going to see in August in the 100 at these great grounds, these great venues, and they're going to be packing them in 10 to the dozen in all of those. And we've got some world-class talent both in the men's and the women's competitions as well. So can't wait for it.
Like you say, it's going to be beautiful chaos this summer. The 100 always is such a spectacle. The tickets are already selling fast, so hurry up and get yours. And priority ticket access is up right now on the100.com. Hopefully, we'll see you at a match soon.
Yes, indeed. Make sure you join us on the 23rd of July when everything kicks off. We're going to be there, and we hope you are too. Thanks for your company, and we'll see you this summer.
Take care. Bye.
Matt Silverbrand, game, set and match.
Leg side, man out there. Oh, brilliant stop. Brilliant stop. That is an excellent catch diving forward.
That is so sharp from Eccleston.
What a catch.
It's the first woman to hit a ton in the 100.